later, the attackers were dead. And I checked the stagecoach to see how many passengers were still breathing. None. It was then I wondered if the rocks weren't hiding more bandits. Was that all of them? Or did I just hit the rear guard? I quickly got my answer. They attacked from on high like Apaches often do. They would appear in great numbers from above and rain down lead on their hapless enemies' heads, making use of the high ground and whatever else they had. Yet the Apaches always appeared out of nowhere, and there never seemed to be an end to them.
Hold on, were you attacked by Apaches? What happened to the cowboys?
Did I say they were Apaches? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style.
What's up, guys? Vital Syntax here, and this is a first look at Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which I've been playing over the past couple days, and I gotta say, this game is pretty freaking awesome. I remember seeing reviews for Call of Juarez Cartel, which was the previous title in the franchise, and it didn't really have the best reviews, and I watched some gameplay and honestly didn't really look too appealing to me. But then I saw that this game came out fairly recently, and I looked at some of the reviews, and I think it's sitting between an 80 and an 85 depending on which platform you look at and which site you're looking at for the review, but slightly higher reviews, and I think anything above an 80 is fairly respectable. And if I see anything that's above an 80, I'll definitely check it out, and just if it's something that I'm already playing or I already haven't checked out, I'll make sure to go out of my way to watch reviews and videos on it to see if it looks interesting. And when I did that for this game, it was like, damn, this game looks awesome. Saw some of the gameplay, and I love first-person shooters, and I kind of like that arcade style of shooters as well, where it's all about going for headshots and getting multipliers and stuff, and that's exactly what this game's all about. And the gameplay is almost unrivaled, and the gunplay, the way that the weapons feel, and just everything about the gameplay is really awesome. And I'll talk about that more in a second, but I wanted to get a couple of things out of the way. Talk about the story, and talk about a couple other things. So the storyline isn't the most intriguing, and I don't really think it's the key selling point for this game. There's not a lot of reoccurring characters throughout the story. Essentially, the way it works is you're in this saloon and you're telling the story of your life to a couple other people that are drinking with you or playing cards or whatever with you, and you keep kind of going back on memories and remembering things that had happened to you and the different bounties that you have fulfilled, because essentially you're a bounty hunter. You're going around taking out outlaws, killing people for money. And that premise of it is kind of cool. It's also kind of cliche at the same time, which I don't really mind too much. But the voice acting is really well done. Amazing, especially the main character. They did a really, really good job with the voice acting. But oddly enough, they don't animate really any of the facial, the lips while they're talking, because they kind of do it, they kind of get around it in a way that makes sense, where they'll narrate it, but it's kind of while you're playing it. You don't really see people talking face to face, and if they are talking face to face and you would see their faces, they don't have moving lips because it's like an animated thing. It's not actual gameplay. They have these kind of cool cinematics that are kind of this Wild West cartoony style of art, and it's really, really cool. And that art style seeps throughout the entire game. It's not just those cutscenes that they did a fantastic job on. It's also just the gameplay and the art style of the game. It kind of reminds me of the graphics of Borderlands, but with a more gritty, brownish, grayish tint with those Wild West themes. But it kind of has that black edge that you see in Borderlands, which is kind of unique, and it definitely makes this game stand out. And as far as the graphics go, I think they're pretty awesome, and it runs really well. This game runs at like at least 200 frames per second on my GTX 680. Some of the spots it'll drop down to like 150 or 160, but it never dropped below 120, which is awesome because I'm playing on a 120 hertz monitor. The options weren't completely there. One of the things I always look for with a PC title is, if they have a FOV slider, if they have all the settings and stuff that I like to change, things like having toggle ADS. And there were some things that were missing. They did patch the game recently and allow for people to change the field of view in a text file. Now I haven't done that because the default field of view is 85, I believe, and I played an 80 to 85 field of view in most games, so that was totally fine for me. But I couldn't figure out how to enable toggle ADS, so I have to use hold ADS, which really isn't that big of a deal. Once you get used to it, it's kind of fine, but at first it was kind of frustrating, and I was trying to figure it out, but couldn't find any other way to enable that. But aside from those a few hiccups and the storyline not being completely perfect, because essentially it kind of gets repetitive. The story is you get a bounty and you go and kill this guy, go kill his outlaw, and you get another bounty and you go kill another outlaw and his gang of outlaws. And it's fun gameplay and stuff, but there's no real recurring characters that you care about other than the single player, or other than the main character. And there's no real emotional attachments to the character. There hasn't been any of that yet. Now keep in mind, I haven't finished the game. I think I'm about 4 to 5 hours in, and I think I'm getting close to the end, so there'll be some type of extended storyline towards the end, but the storyline really isn't the selling factor of this game to me. The really key thing is the gameplay, and I'll get to that right now. So the gameplay is really gunplay, right? Because this is a first-person shooter, and the guns handle so awesomely. There's 3 categories of guns. You've got the revolvers, the rifles, and the shotguns. And then within each category, there's a couple different options. There's revolvers that shoot a little slightly faster, have slightly slower fire rate. There's ones that reload faster. There's ones that do more damage. And then there's rifles that are better at longer ranges, because if you use a pistol at long range, then you're not always going to hit your target. Even if you're aimed at it, it'll just miss, or you won't get a headshot or things like that. Or they don't do very much damage compared to the rifles. And then there's also the shotguns, which you don't really have to be that accurate with. There's a double barrel shotgun, and there's a sawed-off double barrel shotgun. I think I've used all the weapons so far in the game. And there's some Gatling guns that you can get onto throughout the game, and a lot of the bosses that you run into, you have to do Gatling gun, or they're on Gatling guns, and you have to figure out a way to take them off, whether that's throwing dynamite at them or getting headshots and stuff where their body's exposed. But the gunplay is just spot on, and it feels so satisfying to get those headshots back to back and rank up a multiplier. And you can throw dynamite into the air around near a group of enemies and then shoot that, and it'll blow them all up. Or you can shoot the explosive barrels around the map and kill players like that. It's just every time I play it, it's just like, this is really, really awesome. I wish more games had this addicting arcade, a really satisfying first-person shooter action that this game has. Like I said earlier, with the boss fights, you run into some that are on Gatling guns, and then you also run into a lot of them where you have to do duels, which are really difficult, especially if you're playing on the hard difficulty, which, by the way, I've been playing on the hard difficulty. There's also an easy difficulty and a True West difficulty, which I haven't unlocked yet. I think you have to beat the game on hard to unlock that. Then you can go back and replay it on a super hard difficulty. But essentially, the way the duels work is you have to time a bunch of things properly, and you have to get a bunch of things on par, and you have to be really, really precise. So the way it works is there'll be this timer, and you have to move your mouse around to stay on target while the guy kind of moves back and forth, and you're trying to make it basically get more focus, and the more focus you have, the more accurate your shot can be. Then you also have to move your hand with WASD, at least on the PC platform. I'm sure it's the left joystick or something like that on the consoles, and you have to move your hand to get as close to your revolver as you can, and your hand will kind of sway around a little bit, and that will make it so you can draw your gun faster. And then you also have to have good reaction time, because you can either have a dishonorable kill or an honorable kill. Essentially, if he pulls first, then it's an honorable kill if you kill him. If you pull first and kill him, then it's a dishonorable kill, and you'll get less experience and less points towards your leveling up process. And I'll talk about leveling up and skills in a second. So it's really hard. It actually gets really difficult, and towards kind of later on in the game, you have to have really, really good timing. You have to have really good control over the mouse and the keyboard. And right when he pulls right when he starts to grab it, supposed to either pull yours out, aim it, and then you can also dodge his bullet while he gets shot at you. So there's just so much stuff going on. And honestly, there was a couple times where I died 6 or 7 times before I actually got it, and it wasn't frustrating. It was like, he pulled the gun on me. He was quicker than me. He had a faster draw, and it made me want to play it again. So it wasn't frustrating. It was really satisfying, even playing on the harder difficulty, where I've died quite a bit, to be honest. I've died quite a few times, probably because I'm playing a little bit too aggressively, because I just want to get that really kind of Rambo, Call of Duty type of feeling that you get in this kind of action type of first-person shooter. Now, moving on to the skills, like I said earlier, by getting experience, killing enemies, by doing all this stuff, you're going to get experience points, and then you're going to level up your character, and you'll be able to get skill points, and you can spend those skills points on getting faster reloads, faster ADS times, more damage, more time in the slow-mo bullet speed, where you can kind of aim accurately by pressing Q, and it'll slow down time and highlight your enemies and things like that. And there's a bunch of other upgrades you can get. You can get gold engraved weapons or gold plated weapons, so that's really cool as well. So I mean, there's just so much stuff in this game, and the gameplay is so spot on. Now, I haven't finished it, so, you know, I might think less of it once I see that it has a really crappy ending, or it's a lot shorter than I thought it would be. But so far, my first impressions are really positive on this game. And I'll make sure to make some more videos about this, because once I saw the gameplay myself, it was like, this game looks awesome, and then I went out and got it. So hopefully if you guys see this game and you guys think it looks awesome, maybe you guys will go out and get it. But anyway, that wraps up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to give me a like or a favorite. And if you're new around here, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.